We are Team ARUP.
In order to give you a brief idea of what we have done before, let me give you a brief introduction. Our group's main goal is to improve a wood panel installation cycle of a site which is located at the corner of the Green Street and 6th Street. We employ the crew balance, process chart, and flow diagram to come up with 4 different plans which all improve the productivity. In the meantime, we also utilize the RS-Means 2019 to do the cost analysis. Based on our observation, the whole installation cycle requires 8 mean steps and it has 7 workers and 1 crane. Firstly, 1 worker will tie up the wood panel to the cable of the crane, and then 1 crane operator will control the crane and lift the panel and transport it from the storage spot to the working area. After this, 2 workers will release the panel from the crane to the ground, and when the panel is on site, 1 worker will measure the needed dimension, another worker will cut the panel and transport it to the assemble location. And then 1 worker will assemble the cutted panel to the correct location, and then the foreman will do the inspection at the end of this working cycle.
The construction site is located on the corner of Green and 6th Street. The total height of the future commercial and residential buildings will be 7-story high. According to the project planning, the first 2 floors of the building will be a target center, and the construction site has put fences around the construction area, as it can be seen on the picture. In the traffic flow on both 6th and Green Street has been only slightly affected, but has not been completely blocked by the construction activities. The major soil types is Kathleen silt loam with 2 to 5% slopes, and overall the soil is well drained and has high capacity, thus ideal and relatively easy to deal with when under construction.
Crew balance is a commonly used chart in construction industry that addresses the issue in a cycle related to what, who, when, and how. The crew balance chart can illustrate the productivity of the crew members and the equipment, and help optimize crew composition and effectiveness to save time and cost. The vertical bars display the activities, sequence, and the corresponding time of workers and equipment in a cycle. In the current wood panel installation cycle, there are 1 foreman, 4 carpenters, 1 laborer, 1 crane operators, and 1 crane. The total time of the current cycle is 270 seconds. We have ruled out activities that are irrelevant to the wood panel installation cycle in the wrong video, and created the crew balance table of the current operation as shown.
The flow chart is a graphical and symbolic representation of the activities performed on the job site during the construction. And the left-hand side is the layout of the job site, and the right-hand side is the picture of the job site. And for the chart on the right-hand side is a symbolic representation of different activities. And for the table on the left-hand side is the chart flow for the construction. First, the storage, the panel is in the storage, then the worker ties those panels into the crane, then crane transport those panels into the job site, and another worker release those panels and take it to the station to measure, then cut, then install. Finally, the former will inspect their work.
Flow diagram is a line sketch that shows the movement of people or things and the sequence or relationship of construction activities. It is a commonly used graphical aid to analyze the existing construction activities and to find problems. By showing the steps and outcomes of the construction, flow diagram can be used to visualize the construction process and to determine the critical path.
For the analysis of the existing operation and problems part, we create crew balance charts based on 4 types of labor: foreman, crane operator, common labor, and carpenters. We have 8 main steps in our crew balance, but we have 10 activities. The first one is tie up, and then help crane operation, and then lift the panels, release the wood panel, measure and cut wood panel, transport wood panel, and measure dimensions, and assemble it in the end. Shift crane back to the previous place and inspection by foreman. Before we create our crew balance charts, we make 9 assumptions based on our observations on the job site. The first one is only foreman can do inspection job and foreman can do any other jobs. Second, measure dimensions should be done prior to measure and cut wood panel. The third, release the wood panel should be done by 2 workers at the same time, either by a worker, a laborer, or a carpenter. Number 4, transport wood panel and shift crane back to previous place to be done by either labor or carpenter. Number 5, assemble should be done by carpenter in one motion and cannot be separated in separate motions. Number 6, help crane operation and lift the panels should do at the same time. Number 7, help crane operation should be done by the same labor who does tie up. And number 8, lifting the panel should be done by crane and operated by crane operator. Number 9, measure and cut wood panel, assemble and measure dimensions should be done only by carpenters. So now we create our crew balance charts. From this crew balance charts, we can observe a lot of idle activities by foremen, carpenters, labor, and crane operators. For example, foreman does inspection from 210 and to 240 seconds only, and other time are idle. And carpenters as well. They shared a lot of idle times, only by doing one activity. So in our improvement plan, we will minimize the idle time and minimize the crew members, so we can improve our unit costs in the end.
We came up with 3 improvement plans. Our first improvement plan seeks to increase the total output by only adding 1 crane and a crane operator and a laborer with that. We were able to double the output while only adding half a minute to our cycle time. Our second improvement seeks to preserve the existing cycle time while reducing as much workers as possible. We were able to remove 2 carpenters while preserving the existing output and cycle time. Our third improvement plan seeks to reduce cycle time on the basis of improvement plan 2. We were able to reduce the cycle time to 220 seconds by only adding 1 common laborer. Our last improvement plan seeks to reduce the number of workers working on the job site to an extreme. We were able to remove 3 carpenters while only prolonging the total cycle time by 50 seconds while keeping the same output.
For the cost analysis, the wages for each kind of workers have taken several factors into consideration. The bare cost, workers' compensation rates, average fixed overhead, and overhead are checked at the back page of RSMIN's 2019, while the city cost index is checked at page 782. We take the barely rental cost for the only equipment. The rental cost for a crane with 3-ton capacity is $14.45 per hour. The current crew has 1 common laborer, 1 carpenter, 1 equipment operator, 1 foreman, and 1 crane. The cycle time is 270 seconds, and the unit price is $8.99 per square foot. The area for installed wood panel in each cycle is 5 square feet. We have 4 improved plans in total. As the spreadsheet shows, the 4 improved plan has different components of the crews and have different productivity as well as unit cost as a result. Based on the wages and equipment costs calculated before, the unit costs for the 4 plans are $5.74, $6.48, $6.09, and $6.18 per square foot separately. It should be emphasized that in Plan A, the output for each cycle is 10 square feet, while other plans have an output of 5 square feet per cycle, which is the same as current plan. The Plan A has the lowest unit cost, but it has 2 cranes. We think that 2 equipment take large working spaces, which might interrupt with other work on the site. So based on the cost analysis as well as working conditions, we think the Plan C is the best since it has a low unit cost, which is $6.09 per square foot, and doesn't take a lot of working spaces since it has only 1 crane. This concludes our presentation.
Thanks for watching our presentation.
ARUP, we shape a better world.